So today I want to talk about factoring polynomials. And the technique I want to go over is called the magic box. And so the magic box, pretty much you'll have a generic polynomial formula like 8x squared plus bx plus c. And then you'll put it into the box like this. And then you'll use the box to compute the answer. I'll show you an example. So let's say we have the problem x squared minus 4x minus 45. First thing we need to do is identify the a, b, and c term. And if you guessed it, right, it would be x squared minus 4x minus 45. That will correspond to the direct a, b, and c term. The a term is always going to have the x squared, right, and the b term is always going to have the 4x, and the c term is always going to be the coefficient at the end. So pretty much we'll have this problem, and we have to set up the magic box. So what we do is we'll draw a box like so. And we got to put the a term here, so we're going to put x squared here. We have to put the c term here, so I'm going to write minus 45 here. And then we have to put the b term down here, so I'm going to write minus 4x. Now, x and x times x gives us x squared, right? So that's an easy one. So now we got to do the c term, right? So now we have to think of two numbers multiplied together that give us 45. Let's try 9 and 5. So I'm going to try 9, I'm going to try 5. Right, well 9 times 5 is 45, not negative 45. So I'm going to put the negative on the 9. Right, you'll see in a minute. Right, so when we multiply across, right, we get x times 9, which is negative 9x, right? And then we get x times 5, which is positive 5x, right? And because negative 9x plus 5x gives us negative 4x, I know that this is, my solution. So pretty much what we can do is we can just take x minus 9 as one term, x plus 5 is another, right? So the solution would be x minus 9x plus 5. And that would be it insofar as factoring. Now let's say I have x squared minus 17x plus 72, right? And I want to factor this polynomial. Again, I'm going to use the magic box. Right? And I'm going to put my a term here, c term here, and b term down here. Pause and take a minute and see if you can identify the a, b, and c term. Okay, awesome. If you guessed it, it's x squared is the a term, negative 17x is the b term, and the c term is 72. So I'm going to write that in. So now we have x squared, I put my a term here, my c term is 72, I'll put it right here, and my b term is negative 17x. X and x is going to give me x squared. Now I have positive 72, and I want to add up to negative 17x. So what two multiples, right, do you think you're going to multiply together to get 72, but then also end up with negative 17x? Right, okay, if you guessed it, right, it would be 8 and 9, because 8 times 9 is 72, right? But this is negative 17x, so what I have to do is I have to make both of these negative, because negative 8 or negative 9 times negative 8 is going to be positive 72. And then when I multiply across x times negative 8, I get negative 8x. X times negative 9, I get negative 9x. And when I add the two, I get negative 17x. So this factor down is going to be x minus 8 and x minus 9. And that's what I put over here. X minus 8, x minus 9. Awesome, let's do another one. So let's say I have this, x squared plus 2x minus 63x. What's going to be my a, b, and c term? Right, just like before. The a term would be the x squared term, the b term would be the term in the middle of the x, and the c term would be the coefficient. So now, let's set up our magic box. So we have this. I have negative 63 here. So our c term, our a term is x squared, right, and our b term is going to be 2x. A term's always easy, x and x gives us x squared. Now, negative 63, right? How can we get that but end up with 2x? What about 9 and 7, right? 7 times 9 is 63, right? And if I make the 7 negative, it will give me negative 63. And when I multiply across, I'll get 9x plus negative 7x, which does give me 2x, right? So here the answer will be, our factors would be x plus 9 and also x minus 7. So I'm going to write that here. Whoops, it'd actually be x plus 9, x minus 7. Awesome. Right, now let's say that I have x squared minus 9x plus 8. Right, what's going to be my a, b, and c term? Yes, so, right, the a term is going to be x squared, the b term is going to be negative 9x, and the c term is going to be positive 8. Let's set up our magic box. So I have x squared, right, my a term here, my c term is here, which is 8, and my b term is down here, which is negative 9x. X times x gives x squared, 8, right? We have to add up to 9. So we had to think about that, right? It should probably be 8 and 1, because 8 times 1 was 8, right? And then, right, if you make them both negative, you can multiply across and get negative 8x. X times negative 1 is just negative 1x, right? And if you add them together, you get negative 9x, right? So your factor would be x minus 8 and x minus 1. So I'm going to write that here. X minus 8 and x minus 1. And that will be the answer.